Just a few seconds, give everybody a chance. Looks like I will be streaming on multiple platforms. So let me just check. There we go. Okay, that is working there. Let me take care of that there. Okay. So, let me get this started right away. All right. Let me make sure this is off. Don't want no cross situation going on here. There we go. All right. Good evening, guys. Keith K.L. Belvin here, crisis specialist, author, and educator. And happy to be on again from my HAPS platform, going out on streaming on multiple platforms tonight. I believe it is Facebook, Instagram, Periscope, and I believe Twitter. I'm sure. But either way, thank you for joining. Thank you for tuning in tonight. And I want to discuss how a personality assessment can help guide your personal growth. Now, I'm not going to get super deep. I could, but it makes no sense. But I just want to explain to you, if you have never had a personality assessment, I just want to talk about that. And I just want to understand, I want you to understand how it can actually help in your personal development, your personal growth, in whatever area that you're in, whether it's business, your personal life, your relationship, whatever it is. So let me be completely transparent. As I said, I'm a crisis specialist, an author, and an educator. And I spent 22 years in New York City school system as a teacher and as a dean of students. I left early, took an early retirement, moved my family here to Delaware because I did not want my daughter to start school in New York. And so I now work for myself. I am a counselor. Actually, I'm a therapist, and I am building a private practice. Now, why do I tell you all that? Well, when you make the transition from the amount of years that I did working for someone, even though I was very successful at it, when you make the transition to now working for yourself, it is very difficult and can be and is often very frustrating as you are starting. Now, once you get certain things in place, it will get better, but there's always going to be that as an entrepreneur, basically, you're going to have some issues with trying to make sure you're on top of every aspect. And then you have to build your team and go from there. And for me, the hardest thing was wrapping my mind around dealing with things I did not know. See, when you're teaching, you're walking into a school, and I've worked in a couple different schools over the 22 years. You're walking into a school and you have things in place. You have your lesson plan. You know what you're going to do, even if the kids are different and all of that. You have an idea of exactly how it's going to go, and you know how many hours you're going to work. You know you're going to get paid. You know what your strengths are. You know what your weaknesses are. But you pretty much are in, if you're doing it well, complete control. And as most good teachers, and I was a good one, hell, I was a great one. As most good teachers, they know how to reach kids, they know how to reach young adults, they have everything prepared. Now, what does any of this have to do with a personality assessment? I'll explain. One of the things I found now that I'm in a new lane and I'm in a new field, working directly with mental health, is that having a business coach, and having a business coach that I trust. Shout out to Glenn P. Brooks Jr., by the way. One of the things that he did was offer for me to take a personality assessment. Now, let me tell you why this worked out perfectly. I went back to school to get a second master's degree. While I was in grad school learning mental health, because I have a master's degree in human service counseling, specializing in Christian ministry. So I actually know how to shape my counseling around my faith. I did a personality assessment then because it was one of the things that they wanted us to learn how to do to be able to give that to our clients. So when Glenn asked me to do a second one, and I was able to take the information from the second personality test and to compare it to the first one, I realized what some of my strengths were, or my core personality traits, to some of the areas that were not as strong, but areas that maybe I could work on. So I, I, I got a stronger understanding of what I rely on and what I need to work on. So that's what I'm bringing to the table tonight. That's what I want to have a discussion with you tonight. And again, a brief discussion, not going to stay on that long. Tops 30 minutes, if that long. So if you have never had a personality assessment, I would advise you to get one. Now, I provide them as part of the services that I provide as a counselor, because what I want clients to understand, I want them to understand what their pillars, what their personality pillars are. First of all, I want you to understand what makes up your personality. And then I want you to understand what is your core personality. What is the thing that you rely on, the thing that is your go-to personality? Because once you understand that, you're going to understand how you move, how you think, how you deal with things. But on the other side of that coin, when you understand the areas of your personality that are not as strong, that need some work, it's going to open up the door to where you have to start on the personal journey. What is it that you need to fix? What is it that you need to address? And I have found this to be the case in the 2 years, 2.5 years that I've been in this professional lane, this new professional lane, and working with the numerous clients that I've worked with. The minute that you start to address the lesser of your personality, the stronger side of your personality does not diminish. It doesn't diminish. Whatever your core personality is, it does not diminish. But you start to become more well-rounded. You start to have ideas. You start to figure things out. You start to see, when you address the lesser areas of your personality, all of a sudden, wait a minute. So that's why I did that at that time. That's why I do this in this situation. Now, you compare that with a good counselor therapist, and I don't get stuck on the titles. You have consultant, coaches, counselors, therapists. They all are subtly the same, but they're very different. A therapist is more of the strong therapeutic way of doing things. A counselor, I find ways to heal things. A coach coaches, shows you ways that things should get done. And a consultant consults you on how you should maybe do some things, and actually advises you, offers advice. So I am what would be considered a counselor, because I help heal. And the way that I use the assessments that I give to the clients that I work with is that now, once you see what your strengths are, and we agree and we look at it, talk about it, know that that's in the books, that's in the bank, we got that. Now let's look at the areas that need some work. Let's look at the areas that are low. How do we build those up? And what will that look like as it starts to increase? And let me tell you something. When you're honest with yourself, when you are honest with yourself and you address an area of weakness, there is a subtle joy that comes over you as you start to see yourself improve. Now, I can tell you wholeheartedly, because I'm going to always be transparent. I'm going to use myself as an example. Before I got a business coach, I was in business. I have owned my publishing company since 2010. I started Braven Consultant officially as an LLC last year, but I started and have been counseling folks really 2.5 years. But once I started to understand the power of my personality, when I started to understand the areas of my personality that needed to be addressed, when I understand that there were other parts of my personality that maybe I could dip into that I wasn't, oh my gosh, I was like, wow, there's so much more that I am capable of. Now, here's the frustration part. You have to be patient. You have to give yourself a chance to be comfortable with becoming a new person. You have to be patient with building areas that you normally don't use. It's like exercise. You have to be patient that the weight loss is going to come in time. You're not going to lose weight all in one day, just like you're not going to change your personality all in one night. So, yeah, I am on a trek, a journey. I use trek, and people go, a trek. You say track? No, a trek. I am on a journey to become a more well-rounded individual. And now that I know what my strengths are, now let me give you, let me paint a better picture for you. Imagine being in a car and having 4 personalities in the car. And there's labels that we give the different personalities, but I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to get into all that tonight. If you book a session with me, I'll gladly walk you through it because I'm going to give you an assessment. And if you just want to book an assessment just to go over that, I'm here for that too. And I'll give you the information on how you can actually set that up when we get to the end. But imagine being in a car and all 4 of your personalities are in the car with you. Which personality is going to drive the car? Your strongest when you start off. Now, remember, I said there's 4 personalities in the car. Well, what you're going to see is that in time, depending on how long the journey is, let's think about life. That one personality cannot drive the car all the time. It won't work. That personality just won't be able to do that. So you will allow all the other personalities to have their turn at the wheel if you're going to get to where you're trying to go. So whichever is your weakest personality trait, whichever is your weakest personality trait, that's the trait that you're not going to feel as comfortable when they have the wheel. So you're not going to let them rock as long as they possibly could. But now, here's what I'm getting at. If you strengthen the weakest area while keeping the other areas in the mix and strengthening those, and you become well-rounded, now you can drive that car for a while. And you can just keep rotating the different personalities to take the wheel, because as the situations come, as the terrain changes, as the weather changes, the different personality will take the wheel and be ready to rock. But often we don't understand that. So we try to drive hard with the one personality we're comfortable with. And then we normally break down. We might have a secondary personality that we feel comfortable with. We let them get the wheel. They try to hold it down and then they crash because you don't use the other parts of your personality. Well, your personal growth is that car, the outcome of driving that car, your life. And if you've never thought about therapy, if you've never thought about sitting with a counselor, if you've never thought about sitting with somebody and having these conversations, why not? This is what I do. And when I sit with somebody and I can help them to understand this and then make it clear, and the way I do it is you have how you see you and then how you believe the world, what the world expects from you. Basically, the you that you are in public. Now, don't get it twisted. We are all different in public compared to when we're in intimate private settings. So you are totally different inside your home that you are when you're outside. And I show you what that looks like. And then we assign different characters to each level, each part of your personality, and it starts to make sense. You then can hold on to that character so you know what you are. I'll give you the definitions of what high or low, whatever it might be. And now once you have that information, once you're armed with new information, you now can start what you need to do to build your personality as well as build your person. And if this is not something that you thought about, you should. And you should do it at least once just to give yourself an idea, just so you know. Now, Would I like you to sign up for regular counseling? Of course, because then now we get to work on it together. And if you've paid attention to any of my hashtags, my most famous hashtag that I live by and lean on is "We can fix this." Now, you and me work together, we can fix whatever's wrong. And the reason why I believe that, because I'm a man of faith. And I believe that there's nothing that the Lord that I pray to can't fix. But I believe what it takes is two people committing to come together and basically saying, let's go. Let's figure out an outcome. And you heard that term, two heads are better than one. It is, because if there's things that you think about that I didn't think about, and we go back and forth and we're really trying to fix a problem, oh, we can fix it. It'll take some time, but we can fix it. And in my sessions, I'm thinking about how we fix this. And the beautiful thing is, I've watched people get better. I've watched children get better. I worked mostly with women, and I've seen women get better, because it's like the idea of sitting across from a guy who's not trying to do anything nasty to them, who's trying to help them and protect them at the same time. I've seen that growth. And one of the beautiful things that I've seen is when I work with couples. When I work with couples and I get them to see each other, like in the movie Avatar, and they touch each other and say, "I see you." I don't know if you've ever paid attention to how smooth that is. When you can touch your partner and say, "I see you." It's beautiful. Don't get me, I don't get all mushy, but I'm a big movie junkie. But it's just something about that in Avatar that I really like, because it speaks to your partner. It's not a selfish thing. When you're with your partner and you say, "I see you." So when I can be the person who gets to play the fly on the wall and give y'all something to work with, and the two of you as a couple build on that to where you come in at one level with each other, and as you grow to another level, I get to be a part of that. Oh my gosh, I love that. That's why my other hashtag is called "Bring Me Your Pain." I ask for it. I ask people, bring me your pain. I literally tell people, bring me your problem, because I can't be a crisis specialist if there's no crisis for me to work with. So my hashtag, "Bring Me Your Pain," is just simply bring your problem to me and we can fix it. See, they're connected. And I don't sit here and try to lie and say I can fix every problem. I would like to believe I can, but if I can't fix it, I'm not going to hurt you. What I'm going to do is we're going to work together to find you who will be able to step in and help you. As you see, I mentioned at the very beginning, my coach, Glenn P. Brooks Jr. If he is what you need, I have no problem with saying go to Glenn. Because the one thing I've learned, if you try to hold on to somebody who should not be with you, you're hurting them worse than if you never work with them. And I won't do that. My rule, and I think it's the rule of every therapist, every counselor, should be every consultant and coach, is if I can't help, I won't hurt. But I know that's mine. And I know it's a few others that I've heard in other places. Because it's not fair to the person who came to you, who's expecting you to be what you claim to be. Now, am I superhuman? Do I have it all figured out? No, you just heard me say I have a coach. And as my coach reminds us all the time, if your coach doesn't have a coach, get rid of him. If your therapist doesn't have a therapist, get rid of him. If your consultant and your coach, as I just mentioned, as a counselor doesn't have a counselor, get rid of them all, because there should be somebody that they're going to get information just to be able to make sure they're good, so then they can make sure you're good. And I've come to learn that. I think the biggest thing for me is the excitement of realizing that I have these other traits, but I wasn't activating them years ago because I was on autopilot in the classroom. Now that I'm out here on my own and I work for myself, I need every avenue available to me. So yeah, there's sometimes I sit here at this computer and I just don't feel like doing it, but I have no choice because I have to do it to build the clientele and to make sure I am prepared for whatever problem you bring to me. Let me give you something. I'm not going to show you my notes because I have to protect the information, but I have this one and I have, hold on a second, where's it at? I have a ton. Oh, here it is. There we go. I have a whole stack of bag up. Look, there's a whole stack of notebooks here because when I am taking my notes, I want to make sure. I'm about to pull down my iPad here. When I'm taking my notes, I make sure that I understand what it is that I need to understand. So when the session is over, because remember, there's only so much we can pack into an hour. But after that hour is over, I go do homework. And that homework is you. That homework is you as a couple, you as a single woman. I don't work with as many children these days because I lean more towards single women and couples. I do work with some men that are not fearful. Yeah, I said men are not fearful. Men tend to, they don't want to tell the truth, but they're a little nervous with allowing another man to kind of poke around inside here. It's okay. The reason why I work with single women mostly is because single women will then refer male friends, husbands, brothers, fathers, and baby daddies, if that's the situation. And they'll say, you need to talk to this dude. I think he can help you. Because as men, and men, if I'm wrong, hit me up in the chat room. Some men will talk about sports and everything else, but they won't talk about what's really wrong. And if they do talk about what's really wrong, it's very superficial. They won't get down and dirty with the folks around them. And I don't expect them to. I didn't. But with their ladies, with their moms, their sisters, their wives, their girlfriends, with their women, they tend to open up more. So I make myself available to single women. That's my target. But the single women will say, you should talk to my ex-husband. You should talk to my boyfriend. You should talk to my brother. You should talk to my father, whatever. And then I get a call. Hey Keith, my lady said I should speak to you. Let's go. And then the single ladies, let me just tell you why you're the target that I work with. Because often I think single women are forgotten because they're touted for their strength. They are celebrated for their strength. But who holds up the strong woman when she's tired? Who protects that strong woman when she's out here doing her thing? Who helps her heal? And too many men show up as protectors when actually they're wolves. And so you have a lot of women that's out here like, I don't need no man for nothing. And I get it. I understand. And then you got brothers out here like Kevin Samuels basically telling you that, we can say whatever to you because y'all done had the opportunity to say whatever to men for years. I get him too. I'm not a fan, but I understand where he's coming from. Here's what I do. I'm not clout chasing. And I'm not some cat on the internet who's just saying, hey, invite me into your life because I need views and I need followers. All you got to do is look at my page. I don't come on that often. Often I have to be reminded to come on social media because I'm trying to build something behind the scenes. I'm trying to build something for real. I'm not on for likes. Actually, why I say that. You should have liked this, shared this. You should have liked this and shared this by now. And if you really enjoyed it, save it to give to somebody else. And tag 3 people right now. Tag 3 people. Hey, come on and check out this dude right here. Okay, I got the promotion part out of the way. And the reason why I had to do that is because if I don't, I forget. And I have been criticized. I have been told by promotional folks, hey, remember to tout the product, or remember to remind folks where they can do this. I got that. That I'm not as polished, and I'm working on that. What I am is a person who understands. What I am is a person that when this camera's off to the world, and it's just you and I because of COVID, of course, and I do work with people from all over the country. When this camera's on and it's you and I'm lazy, I'm locked in. I'm not worried about likes. I'm not worried about follows. Then I'm worried about how do we fix your relationship? How do I help you with whatever you have a problem with? How do I be a sympathetic ear, but also be firm enough to tell you something that I know you may not want to hear, but I know you need to hear? How do I do that? Well, I do that by not worrying about the things like this. I'll get that business aspect, but what I am a real counselor. I am a real teacher. And I wrote books so you can get an idea of what goes on inside here and inside my heart. I do. It's what I do. But I am working to come on a regular because I know people need to hear me first, see me like this, to feel comfortable to reach out. So in these last 5 minutes, this is what I want to do because I want to end this the right way. And I said I don't want to be on longer than 30 minutes. I don't want to take any more of your time than I've already taken. And I thank you if you rocked out with me this long. And again, you should have liked this, shared this, tagged 3 people, and saved this. That's how you can actually help me in this capacity because somebody in your circle needs to know who I am, who needs my help. Now, let me just break something down. Crisis specialist, what does that mean? That means when you come to me with a problem, I have a plethora of ideas and understandings ways that I can help you, right? Author, well, I've written 5 books and I've been a part of 5 others. So I have things that I can give you to read that are of various different backgrounds. Some are educational, some are of self-help, some are fiction, and I write poetry. So yes, I put myself out there in a poetic way too. An educator. I'm a real teacher. I'm a man of God and I'm a real teacher, meaning that I understand how to get across information in a way that you will not sit there and feel stupid or intimidated. It used to drive me crazy when I would see parents scared to speak to other educators because they were worried about looking stupid, so they wouldn't ask the questions that they really needed. Sir, I'm sorry, I don't understand. Could you explain that to me? I will ask you the questions that are needed to get you to get me to make sure I understand you. Because I'll ask you, are you with me? Tell me what you understand. Tell me what you got. Do you need any help with understanding what I said? And I will make it clear. Write the vision, make it clear, as the Lord says. I will make it clear for you. Because that hour that we're together, my job is to make sure when you say good night and I say good night or good afternoon, you are in a better place than you were when we first said hello. That I left you with something, that I gave you something, that you could go back, and I'll give you some homework too. Yeah, I said this the other day. I'm a counselor that gives homework, but the homework is designed to help build you. That's what I mean by this whole DISC assessment. All right, this whole personality assessment. So if you're interested in taking your own assessment, if you're interested, go to my website, bravenconsultants.com, BRAVIN consultants.com, bravenconsultants.com. Just go to my store. You'll see the assessment. Click on it. You'll be able to set a day with me. I will then forward you. You'll then get a link. You fill out the assessment. I'll get notification that you completed the assessment. And then we will set a day to sit down and go over the assessment. Here's the beautiful thing about the assessment once we're done. You don't have to contact me to go back over it. You will have private access to go back over your assessment, print it out if you like, read more about it if you like. And I will advise you to do that anyway. So you don't lose out. It's not a one hitter quitter thing. No, you will always have access to your assessment, which will be the guide for you as you go forward, which I use mine. Mine is right over here on my desk and I refer to it. But because my coach, shout out to Glenn P. Brooks Jr. again, my coach reminds us all the time what category of personality we are because we operate from that position to do what we do. But we also address the other areas to be able to get things done. And that's what I'm doing here. So if you're interested, go to my website, bravenconsultants.com. Sign up for the assessment. If you believe you need regular counseling, you need to talk to somebody, go to my website, sign up. But if you're more interested in if you're not sure, then you can get any of my books. My books, my writing style will show you who I am because I write from my heart. And I publish my own books, by the way. Yes, I own my own publishing company too. So if you're interested in publishing your own books, I give literary consultations too. But that's not what I'm talking about tonight. But there's a link. You'll be able to see that link. So as we get to 8:30, we're here. I want to say this to you. If you're sitting there right now and you want to make changes in your life, listen to me. If you're sitting there right now and you need to make some changes in your life, And you know, with this whole COVID thing, you've just been all over the place. That's okay. We all have. You need to take the assessment. You need to be able to sit down and let's have a conversation and let's figure out what your strengths are. What are the areas that you need to work on? Let's put some of that in place and let's see what you can really become when you are laser focused. And if you need, I'll be there with you. We can set something up that I rock out with you whenever you need me, once a week or twice a month, whatever works for you. But do something if you need something. Okay? I am Keith K. Abovin, crisis specialist, author, educator, and a man who cares. And as a man of God, I'm supposed to. But I am a real dude who really wants to help. And as I said before, remember this. When you and I get together with the idea of wanting to do better, we can fix this. But before we can fix this, I need you to bring me your pain. And if you do that, I promise you, I'll bring mine to the table. I'll make sure I bring all I got to help you. It's what I do for every client that I work for. And if I cannot help you, I will not hurt you. I will refer you to whoever can help you until I can hand you off. I'm good. Okay? I want you to have a wonderful evening. Thank you for tuning in. Again, make sure you have liked this. You have shared this. You have tagged 3 people that you think needs to hear this. And then I want you to save this. And again, by doing that, you tell the algorithm on whatever platform that you're watching me on, I like what this guy is doing. The algorithm then starts to move some things around and lets me be seen by some other people. So I appreciate if you do that. Again, I am Keith K. Abovin. Thank you so much. I will be back on, what is tonight, Thursday. I believe I'll be on Sunday. I don't think I'll be on Mother's Day. So I'll probably be on Saturday or Monday. But I will always send a little word of when I'm going to be on again. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Take care. God bless.